Hey everyone, welcome to the second episode in our brand new Called series. I'm so glad you decided to join us. And in just a couple minutes, I am going to send you over to a video that I recorded with the content for our second episode, and that is about discovering your desire. So, we're going to talk all about God's design for your life and the passions that He has instilled within you and the desires of your heart and how you can use those to help diagnose your calling and how you can foster them for your success. Before I do that, I wanted to tell you about three quick announcements that I'm really excited about. The first one is our Discover Your Strengths seminar. So if you are watching this video on its release date, there is a seminar coming up this coming Saturday, April 6th, called Discover Your Strengths. So I am super excited about that. And you can join us here at Destiny Church in De Pere, Wisconsin, if your schedule permits. Otherwise, if it's something that you're interested in, but it's just too short a notice, you can't make it work, you can't join us on April 6th, reach out to me. I'm going to include my email here in the notes, as well as links. There are links on our website to schedule an appointment with me, and I would love to talk to you more about that content one-on-one if that's something you're interested in. The second thing that I want to share is about our third episode in this series. So the first Wednesday in May, we will be releasing our third episode, and it's going to be a shift. So we're going to shift from the first two episodes where we talked about discovering our design and discovering our desires. And now we're going to be talking about making some choices. And we're going to talk first about choosing a plan. So by plan, we mean what educational path is going to set you up for success for where you want to go. So to help me with that topic about choosing a plan, I am going to be bringing in our first guest of the series. It's Dan Erickson. He is an academic advisor and career coach with North Central University. So, in anticipation of his joining us next month, you'll see I am rocking my North Central gear in our video this month, and I just can't wait for you guys to see and hear and benefit from everything that Dan has to share next month. So again, that's going to be the first Wednesday of each month. We release a new episode, and we have Dan to look forward to the first Wednesday in May. The last thing I want to share is some pretty big news for Destiny School of Leadership. It's many years in the making, but we have been working towards providing certificate programs. And what certificates are is they are some college level courses that you're able to take to help develop professional proficiency in a particular area. So you may not feel like you need to go back to school, or you already have a bachelor's degree, or you already have an advanced degree. And so going back to school for a whole degree program may not be right or the best choice for you, but you may look forward to some additional training and some college level coursework in a particular area. So that's where the certificate programs come in. They range from 3 to 6 classes depending on the program, and we're going to have offerings in everything from healthcare, Bible and theology certificates. We're going to have some lean manufacturing certificates available for people in that world. As well as counseling and education certificates, and just a great variety of things to offer you. But again, it's been many years in the making, and we are really excited about this partnership that's going to make these certificates available to you. And so if that's something you're interested in, we'll probably have a whole special episode dedicated to that launch. But I just wanted to get you some the breaking news that we are very excited about. So with that, I will turn it over to the rest of the video content, and look forward to seeing you guys again next month. Hello and welcome to episode 2 of our Called series. I am Brian Hendricks, the site director here at Destiny School of Leadership, and I am so grateful that you decided to join us for this next episode in our series. If you haven't checked out episode 1, be sure to go back and check that one out as well, and you'll be able to get some great information about what this series is all about and where we're headed. To give you guys a little bit of an overview over what we've covered so far, in episode 1, we did talk extensively about some of the mistakes that we make in navigating higher education. In episode 1, we really focused on discovering our design. Remember, we talked about what we do professionally, what we do in terms of our ministry and our purpose. It flows out of who we are, who God made us to be. Our professions and all these things are an extension of God's design for us and within us. So to discover that, we've got tools. We can look at the feedback that other people have given us. What have others said to us about us? What have others said that we are uniquely gifted at? And we can look at those sources of information to discover something about how God has designed us. We actually have an event related to that. If you haven't checked it out already, jump on our website, destinyschoolofleadership.com, and navigate over to events to find out more about our Discover Your Strengths seminar on April 6th, which, if you're viewing this on the day that we go live, it is this coming weekend, this coming Saturday. So if that's something you're interested in, jump online, register for that event, and we will get the StrengthsFinder tool in your hands to help you on that process of discovery. But all that being said, today we want to shift gears and focus on our desire. And by desire, I mean, what do you want to do professionally? What do you want to do? What do you feel like God is calling you to do? Because God, He can speak to us in the desires of our hearts. He can put those desires and those passions within us. And sometimes this is just an observation that I've made from my experience professionally, and even thinking back to my time, going through elementary school and grade school and on into high school. Sometimes kids, when they're very young, they very naturally know how to get excited about things. They know how to be passionate about something. Somewhere along the way, I feel like it's common. It's not ubiquitous, but it's common for people to lose that. Um, and there's sort of this overarching tone of apathy that pervades late middle school and high school years of education, where somewhere along the way it's not cool to care anymore. And initially it might just start out about caring about school. Like it's not cool to care about doing your homework, or it's not cool to care about doing well in school. And in an effort to fit in, we will sort of act like we don't care. And pretty soon after we make that effort to fit in, and we sort of become apathetic or disinterested in school, or at least disinterested in doing well in school, pretty soon that becomes our attitude towards it. We forget how to apply ourselves and really care and be passionate about something. We train ourselves to be indifferent. We train ourselves to be apathetic. And I've seen it so many times in so many workplaces, in so many environments that I've worked in where people are just doing the bare minimum to get by. They don't have that sense of passion or zeal. They certainly aren't working as if everything they're doing is for the glory of God. So that's what I want to encourage you to recapture. If that's something you feel like you've lost, um, it might not be the workplace. It might not be the job that you're doing. Sometimes it just has something to do with what's inside of us and how we're bringing that to any job or task that we're doing. So think about that. Think about where that came from, and if you're pretty far down that road, maybe think about when was the last time that you were really excited about something. That excitement, that desire that you have to succeed, that drive within you to be successful, that's what we want to take into our education. That's what we want to take into our workplace. That's what we want to take into life in general. And for some people, you're hearing this, and that is not your issue. That drive to succeed and achieve comes really naturally for you. Um, for all of us, the term that I want to use to sort of characterize that drive, to characterize that zeal and that excitement for work, for education, for ministry, the term I want to use is passion. So today, when we talk about discovering our desire, we're going to be talking about what does it mean to be passionate about something? What does it mean to have passion for something? Passion is, simply put, it's what leads us to action. It's that impulse, that compelling force within ourselves, that compelling force from God to pursue something. And passion, it's kind of a unique source. It comes from the Greek word pascho, which means suffering. So that's why we talk about the passion of Christ. If you're listening to this on our published date, we just finished Easter week, or Holy Week, I should say, and just celebrated the Easter holiday. So we talked about the Passion of Christ, or you may have seen that movie produced by Mel Gibson many years ago, or a few years ago. The Passion of Christ, that refers to Christ's suffering. So how do we get from suffering to excitement? Well, how the word passion comes from or relates to suffering is oftentimes our passion in the modern sense is the degree of difficulty we are willing to endure to accomplish a purpose. So if we're careless about something, or if we're apathetic about something, we're not going to try very hard for it. The first obstacle we face, we'll tend to give up and give in. But if we're passionate about something, we're willing to endure a great deal of difficulty for that given objective. So that passion is the compelling action. It's what drives us and leads us to action. And it's also the degree of difficulty that we're willing to endure to accomplish that purpose. And finally, passion oftentimes refers to our heart for people, or our heart for issues or functions or causes, right? So people, issues, functions, and causes. These are things, or are objects of our passion. So how do I identify my passion? What are my interests? So I'm going to give you 4 tools to help diagnose or distinguish what's something that you are passionate about. The first one is need. Where do you see needs? The needs that you see are going to be determined by what you see in the world. What stands out to you as a need is shaped by what you're passionate about. Chances are the things that I see, the needs that I see in my church, in my workplace, in my community, in my family, those needs are unique. They're different from your needs or the needs that you see. So what you see is different from what I might see, even if I'm a part of that same community. So what you see as needs, what stands out to you, reveals something about your passion. So what's the need? Next is the object. What's the object of interest? And again, that goes back to the idea of people, issues, functions, or causes. If you've had a particular difficulty in your life, or you've been touched by a particular difficulty, you may in turn develop a passion or an interest for that. One example that I always use when we're talking about this topic in our ministry courses is, for me, um, one of the formative events of my youth was the divorce of my parents. And that's something that, statistically speaking, many people are affected by. And the way that it affected me is I became very interested or passionate about what makes for successful relationship dynamics. What does it take to create a home, a healthy home, that foster, where we can foster healthy relationships and love, and ultimately become a house that's focused on Christ. So that's just one example of a formative event in my life that shaped something. It could be other things too. It could be a passion for particular people groups. I have a pair of good friends who became very involved in foster care early on in their marriage, and through that process, they've really seen a need for additional services to the foster care community. So that has become not just a passion within their lives, but now it's become a ministry, and it's a people group that they are focused on serving. So they discovered that, through their experience, and by seeing a need in a particular people group that captured their attention. Um, when it comes to career, sometimes this can be difficult because people don't always see the companies that there are opportunities at, or the experiences or career paths that are out there, and they don't see these things as something that they might be particularly excited about. My first career, excuse me, the first opportunity that I had out of college was after I did an internship. I went and worked for a minor league sports team. And I chose that path because of the object of my interest, right? I was interested in sports. You could say I had a passion for, for that issue or that cause of professional sports, and so I wanted to be around it. But pretty quickly, I discovered that was a difficult life, and it was, you're working a lot of nights and weekends, and it wasn't great for my particular family life. And additionally, minor league sports, at least the organization that I was with, it didn't pay the best. So it became an opportunity where I was either going to continue on that path and try to climb the ranks, or I was going to take the skills that I was developing in that field and go apply them to the marketplace somewhere else. And that's ultimately the decision that I made. And the company that I went to work for provided industrial supplies, and it wasn't a terribly glamorous industry. But what I became passionate about was the success of the team that I was a part of. And so through those years of playing team sports and being a part of a team and developing a competitive drive to win, and the same things that made me want to be in um, work in professional sports as a career, not as an athlete, but as a career, in the front office. The same things that made me interested in that, I was able to apply to my career as an industrial supply sales representative. And so I was able to use all the same competitive skills and really become passionate about the success of our team, and ultimately the success of our customers. So the cause the issue became the industry that I worked in, and the cause became the success of our customers and the success of our team internally. And that was something that I developed over time. So when it comes to some of these things, these aren't things that you're necessarily super fired up on right away. But if you can find the right group of people, the right environment that you can be excited about going to work in every day, sometimes you can develop a passion for things that, at first glance are easily overlooked. So far, these identifying interests that we've talked about a need and an object. I'm going to give you two more quickly before we wrap up our conversation on passions. And these, I kind of talk about them together because they have a great relationship. The first is fervency. Fervency refers to a burning desire. So fervency is something that we are really excited about. It's that burning desire to know more, to learn more, or to do better and grow in something. So that's fervency, that kind of burning desire deep within our gut. Um, and the second one is tenure. So tenure is the amount of time that we have that interest. And I talk about them together because for this reason. One is because you want to use these tools to work together to determine if this is truly a passion. So the example I always use is when I was a kid, the first Top Gun movie came out, not the second one that came out more recently. I'm revealing my age a little bit, but when I was a adolescent, a young teenager, the first Top Gun movie came out, and I remember when I saw that movie, I was so fired up. I wanted to be a Navy pilot. What does that have to do with passions? Um, that interest in becoming a pilot had fervency. I had a burning desire after seeing that movie, but it lacked tenure. That desire did not last very long, right? On the other hand, when I went back to school for my master's degree within the last few years, how that process worked was really different. Um, I had an interest in my degree program for many years, and I had been researching schools that offered my particular program, and I had a list, and I never I've never felt like the circumstances would be right. But that fervency was there. I was super interested in it. I was consuming media content about this particular field for many years, and I was researching it. So I was listening to podcasts, I was reading articles, I was reading books about the topic for many years. And so in that case, I had fervency, I had the burning desire, but I also had tenure. And so when the opportunity came up through Destiny School of Leadership and the degree program was going to be offered through my local church, it was obvious that I felt it was providential that God had put this opportunity and this program in my path in such an obvious way. And what was really neat about that was it was actually my wife who finally said, you should do this. So it was sort of confirmation. But I use that as an example of something where I had both fervency and tenure in that interest, in that passion. So again, 4 tools to identify passion or to foster passion for something is take a look at your interests. What needs pop up in your mind? What people, issues, functions, or causes are the object of your interest, right? So need, object, and finally fervency and tenure. Those are 4 sort of diagnostic tools that you can use to develop or uncover your passion. Ultimately, as we're talking about, to discover your desire. And so I'll leave you with this today as we wrap up this conversation about discovering your desires and your passions. Um, I want to give you a couple tips. One, when it comes to deciding, understand that most of these decisions they're not moral decisions where there is an obvious right and wrong. Sometimes people get so hung up on the decision process and they agonize over it because they don't want to make the wrong choice. Most of these decisions are not moral decisions. You have the opportunity to choose, guided by the Holy Spirit, between two or more good options. You are not choosing between a right and wrong or a good and evil. This isn't a dualistic scenario where you're going to go down the wrong path. There are many paths where you can grow and develop professionally, and where you can be saying yes to God's call. He cares about the person you become, and the skills that you develop, and ultimately everything that you do, whether it be in the marketplace or ministry or in your family life, in your personal life, in anything that you do can draw people closer to God and give you the opportunity to tell others about Him. So this does not have to be a right or wrong, good or bad, sort of dualistic decision. You can choose from many good paths. Um, and the next thing I want to give you is maybe some homework. If you're really serious about following along with this course, if I was counseling somebody or coaching somebody, providing career coaching or college coaching, I would tell them to do this. Interview experts. So I'm going to provide a list of questions. I'll have a hyperlink to it here in the notes from this video, and I will also provide a link on our website. And I'm going to suggest that you take this list, either use the list as it is or develop your own. Use this list for inspiration to develop your own questions, and then set some appointments and interview experts who are in the field that you think you might have an interest in. And so by doing that, you are going to discover more about what it takes to be successful in that field. You might find things and hear things about that lifestyle that you are really, really excited about. You might discover things about the programs and the education that you would get that make you excited about that. And those are great discoveries because you're developing passion. You're developing an interest in something. You're caring about what you're going to do. You might also discover things that are not so appealing. And so you might be able to eliminate some things. Again, not making a choice between good or bad, but you're able to make the best choice for you by eliminating possibilities and narrowing your focus to the things that truly interest you. So develop a list and ask people if you would be able to sit down with them for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, if you would be able to stop into their office or buy them a cup of coffee or sit down with them after church one day and just ask them a few questions about what they do in their ministry, what they do in their profession, and interview the expert. And you'll be amazed because you're not only going to learn more about what you might be passionate about, but you're going to learn more about the path and the potential academic partner. And you're going to develop a resource in this person who wants you to be successful. So now you have a potential mentor, you have somebody who can guide you, you have a sage who can offer you advice about the path that might be successful and the path that might not. You will be able to gain their collective wisdom from years of experience. And these types of things on the journey are so valuable. So again, I just want to encourage you and be open to that. It might be intimidating, but if this is something you're interested in talking more about, I am happy to be a resource for you. And you can reach out to me. Again, all my contact info is available below as well, or go ahead and shoot me an email. The email address here at Destiny School of Leadership is dsl@destinydepeer.org. So feel free to reach out to me there, or drop a comment or outreach here, and I would be happy to connect with you in whatever way you think would be helpful. So super excited about the rest of this journey, and we'll talk again soon.